All right. So here we are again. Another story time. It's Saturday. I felt like I should do a part two to my story time from Wednesday, because that story was crazy. So I have to take a drink of one of my signature drinks, my pink mimosas. So I'm going to continue on from where the last story ended. So in the last story time, the married man that I was seeing had hit me, and that was a very traumatic thing to go on or to go through. So Entanglement part 2 on the Candy Shop. I'm Candace. So after I got hit by the married man and dropped him off on the side of 75 in Dallas, the next day I had to go to work, and I had to act like everything was normal. And in going to work, my face was swollen, and so a lot of people at work thought I had an abscess. They didn't know what it was. I was acting different at work, and so a friend of mine that I had gotten hired with at work, he came up to me. He was like, "Cece, what's going on with you? Why? What happened? Why is your face swollen?" So I broke down in tears and I told him. And he, of course, wanted to go and fight him. I had built up a relationship with this particular coworker. He was married at the time, and we were strictly friends. And so I ended up being called into the office of my director at the time, and I basically told her, and this is the first time ever, because usually when I'm at work, the work Candace is very, very different than the Candace that you see here on this YouTube channel. I do keep myself, I'm not going to say I'm just an uber professional, but anything that goes on in my personal life, like from my kids to my family, anything that happens to me, I usually keep to myself. Like, I'm not the type that puts up pictures of my family in the office, because I don't know those people. And so I just feel like I don't want people that I don't know looking at my family. It's just, I know it's weird, but I want to separate my family from my work life. So it was very hard for me to be in that office with that manager and let her know exactly what happened, because she can sense something. At this particular company, I was a high producer. That day when I came in, I was unlike myself. Just quiet. Like I said, I had a swollen face. And at that time, I was a really thin girl. So anything done to me, you can see it's very apparent. And the pain of being hit in my jaw was so bad I didn't want to eat. Like, it really hurt to eat. And so that manager is like, "You need to press charges. Why didn't you call me?" She was actually one of the coolest lady managers I've ever had in my life. But she was like, "Why didn't you press the charges? You need to go to the police station now." And I was like, no. At that time, I didn't want anything to do with him. I just wanted to forget about him. So I think I went to get my nails done on my lunch break. I don't know. She let me get off early. I just remember getting my nails and everything done, and my coworker telling me that he wants to take me out. The coworker that is just a friend of mine. He wanted to take me out. And no, this particular coworker is not anybody that's still in my life right now. It's not my male best friend. It's not him. But this was a job that I worked at prior to working at one of my last jobs in Dallas. So I agreed to go out with him for drinks. So I got prepped, got my nails done, a stone pedicure, all of that. I needed it, because it's like I said before, it is a traumatic feeling when you are hit by somebody, because I was raised by a single mom. My mother is very independent, instilled in us to be independent, instilled in me and my sisters to be very independent. We take care of ourselves. Don't ever let a man don't ever let a man control you or do anything to you or harm you. And so in that moment, I felt so ashamed that it did a lot to me. I'm not going to lie. So those women that are going through abuse, I commend them for being able to still get up each day and still be there and be a support to, let's say, their children or whoever they have to be there for, because that is very hard. And at that time I had a son myself. So I go out to drinks with my coworker, and everything is cool. He's telling me I should never let a man do this to me. His nickname for me was CC. So he's like, CC, you shouldn't let that happen. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Just really being comforting, because at the time, of course, I couldn't go to my husband, and I'll tell a story time on that as well. My soon-to-be ex-husband, like I said in the last story, we were separated, and at this point in our marriage, he had someone else pregnant anyway. So I couldn't go to him and tell him like, hey, this married man I was messing with bashed me in my face. So I'm confiding in my male coworker, and we drive to my house because he had actually picked me up from my house since I had gotten off early. We drive to my house, and he drops me off. He wants to walk me up to the door. And when he walks me up to the door, let me take a drink to this. Oh, I'm telling YouTube all my business. We get to my door, and this man kisses me on my neck. And it is just marvelous to go from one day being bashed in the face by one guy and then being sweetly kissed by another. It's like, wow. And then my mind was all over the place. Him being married was just out the window. It's crazy. It's ironic because I could have been bashed in the face again by his wife if she would have called us. But anyways, we go into my apartment, and he does not leave my apartment until 4 a.m. So that begins my entanglement number 2. Now, in my entire life, I've only messed with 2 married men. I would never do that again. And, I'm married now. But it's not something that I would advocate for, because a lot of drama comes with it, a lot of karma. Though I was only confronted once by the first guy's wife. The second guy's wife never knew about our affair. But it was just the karma. But this situationship or entanglement lasted for a long time. We worked together. Sometimes it was very hard to know that I'm with him intimately. I had fallen in love with him too. To know that I'm with him intimately and know that he has a wife. And then there was also other women in the office that were talking to him as well. He thinks I don't know this, which is so funny to me. But he was a very charming, charismatic guy, and he knew all of the right things to say, especially at a time when I was vulnerable, and I fell for it. Instead of really going to get, maybe at this point I should have went and got counseling, but I didn't. Instead of doing that or getting therapy for the situation that I had been through, I actually should have got therapy for my damn marriage. But I fell into the arms of another married man. So it's like I'm continuing the cycle of toxicness, because to me, I was a toxic female by messing with a married man. I myself was coming out of a marriage myself, so that was my time to really get to know myself and set boundaries for myself. But anyways, so this, going back to the juicy stuff, because I know now I feel like I'm Iyanla. Going back to the juicy stuff, this situationship or relationship that I had with this man, it lasted for a while, and I liked it a lot. I didn't want it to stop, and the only reason why I stopped, I guess we just fell off. I got tired of being number 2, and then life started to hit me real bad, because I lost my job, that job that I was working with him at. I had also, in the process of going through my marriage, my husband had my car taken away. So I lost my car from losing from losing my job. I lost my apartment in Dallas and was staying in an extended stay. And then I eventually ended up losing my car, and I had to go and live with family. I had me and my son living with family. So that's why I said the karma was bad, because I feel like I lost every single thing in my life because of the bad things that I was doing. And I just, from that moment, I learned, like, it does not pay to do this. You truly do. I feel like I'm spitting. You truly do reap what you sow. And so I was not sowing a good seed. No, ma'am. So when life really started to hit me, I had to just cut it off. Like, it was just too much bad stuff happening. And so I cut it off and just faded. And to make a long story kind of short, this man ended up, from my understanding, from what I heard, of course he was messing with women in our office, but he ended up getting another job back in a prior industry he was in. We were in sales, but it was he went to another sales job. And so he had an affair with someone at that job, got her pregnant, divorced his wife, and married this new side chick. And she's actually somewhat older than him. So I always thought that was funny. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I couldn't be with somebody that I had cheated with, and then they leave their spouse and then they get with me, because in my mind, in the back of my mind, I would be always looking for signs of, okay, this man is probably doing something, or he's probably cheating. So that's what happened with that. But one of the things that happened, going back to me dating him, he was the guy that I was dating at the time, that the other married man showed up at my apartment, knocked on the door while my friend was over and was trying to come in, and my friend had to tell him to leave, and he didn't leave. He stayed. The other married man stayed, sat on the steps of where my apartment was, and smoked cigarettes like the whole night. And so the married man started bringing his gun over. The one that I was currently dealing with started bringing his gun over just in case this guy tries something. So in my mind, like, this whole thing was crazy, like very crazy. The fact that somebody had to bring their gun to my house because another guy was stopping by. It was a complete hot mess. Something that I don't ever want to experience again. So that was that story. I know these stories, I think I want to keep them quick, because the less details, the less craziness, because some of the stuff is very crazy, and people would be surprised all of the things that I've experienced in my life, because I really do keep to myself. I make jokes here and there, but if you guys only knew some of the things that Candace, I like to speak about myself in third person sometimes, some of the things that Candace, me, she, her, has done, you would be very surprised. So some of these stories you will get to hear in other story times. Some of them will never come to light because it's just too incriminating. And hey, none of us are perfect, so don't judge me. Judge your mammy. Don't judge me. Well, this was my story time. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lesson. Don't mess with married people because it's not worth it. Yeah. So I know this is on a weird day. I'm premiering this on a Saturday. I usually do story times on Wednesday, but I want to start getting content every day for my channel. YouTube is something that I've always wanted to do from a long time ago. For those that truly know me, I started this channel back in 2007. I just started posting videos to it and doing my own content 1 month ago. So I want to thank you guys for watching me. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, The Candy Shop. Tomorrow, me and my bestie will be reviewing 2 movies. I don't even know what movies we're going to review, but make sure you watch that because that's funny too. We like doing it. But I hope you enjoyed this story time. I'm signing off now. I can't even talk. Bye.